This Friday Night SmackDown was one of the best that we have seen in quite a long time. We had an awesome segment between John Cena and Randy Orton. We finally got the announcement that they will be main eventing Backlash for the WWE Championship. We even got to see Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill possibly teasing a future match for the championship. The United States Championship is being viewed like a main title. The tag team division is fantastic. We're going to be talking about everything that transpired on this Friday Night SmackDown right now. What is going on, everyone? It is me, D Loves Wrestling, and what a show. I felt like everything of this 3-hour SmackDown was fantastic, because the last few SmackDowns, honestly, the last few months of Friday Night SmackDown, 3 hours is way too much for the show, but this SmackDown flew by. But it was still a 3-hour show, but there was no filler spots. Everything was perfect. Everything had meaning to it, and we're going to dive right into it. Starting out in the show, John Cena and Randy Orton go face to face. Before John could even talk, Randy Orton's music hits, and the pop was insane for Randy Orton. Finally, we have someone who can give John Cena that genuine heat, because with Cody Rhodes, it was too much nostalgia factor for John Cena. That's why everyone was booing Cody Rhodes at Wrestlemania, and also the Friday Night SmackDown prior to Wrestlemania, because who doesn't want to see John Cena win the 17th title? Now that John Cena has the 17th title, and he's still going at the fans and saying how disrespectful they are, now they got a big babyface now in Randy Orton to go face to face with John Cena. Just a perfect way to finally give Cena that heat that he needed. Right off the bat, Randy Orton reminds John Cena that the hustle, royalty, respect, that wasn't just a gimmick. John, that was you. You lived by that lifestyle for the past 25 years. But that all changed just a few months ago. And all the wishes that he granted for every kid, and also just how many people he has motivated, kids and adults as well, for the past 25 years. He just watches that all away and becoming this horrible person. Randy actually went to the extent of saying, John, I think you need to have kids. I think that's your problem here. You don't seem to have the maturity level of understanding just how much of an impact raising kids and having that kind of responsibility can change your life and your perception on everything. That was a deep cut. That was like a really, not a heel remark by Randy, but it was definitely surprising for someone to even mention that to John Cena. I feel like it was no one better than Randy Orton to say that to John. Obviously, they have a great relationship outside of the ring. That was really pretty cool to hear. It's finally time for someone to dig into Cena, and like, instead of Cena drilling the fans, now let's get the truth into John Cena. Cena had a response to Randy. He said, the reason why I haven't had kids is because I've been raising all of these people's children for the last 25 years. What a response to something that Randy tried to, I guess, insult John by saying that John needs to have children, and John is in his mid-40s. He doesn't plan on having children. What a great heel thing to say by John Cena. Like, in the crowd, I think there were some cheers, but there was majority of boos. Thank goodness, because if John's saying that can't get boos, then I don't know what will. This man is undeniable at this point. If him saying that the parents suck, he's calling out kids, saying that they're disrespectful and they're brats, and then making fun of the kid's father, calling the father in the crowd a loser, and like, if he's still getting a pop after that, like, I don't know what to say. I don't think you could boo John Cena then. And Cena goes on, obviously, his main goal with this title run is to ruin professional wrestling. And we're talking the Randy Orton here. We're talking the Randy Orton, Cowboy Bob Orton. Randy Orton's last name, his entire legacy is professional wrestling. Randy Orton took offense to that, and he was basically telling John, you're not going to wipe away what my family has been doing for the last 50 plus years. Randy Orton, right when he came out of the womb, was meant to be a professional wrestler. That's quite offensive that John Cena wants to wipe away what literally made Randy Orton's family what it is today. And all the blood, sweat, and tears that Randy and his family's legacy brought to the WWE and just wrestling in general, just everything that wrestling has gave him in his entire life. So seeing Randy Orton's frustration with what John Cena's main goal is, and that is to ruin pro wrestling, John Cena finally declares the one last time we are going to see Randy Orton and John Cena in a one-on-one match. We are going to see John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship at St. Louis, Missouri Backlash. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I literally grew up on this feud. This feud was throughout my entire timeline of watching wrestling when I was younger, when I was growing up, the mid-2000s and early 2010s. This was the biggest feud all time, and people got sick and tired of it when it was currently going on. But now that we're getting it like years ahead, I think the nostalgia factor is going to be a little overwhelming, I think, when we get to this main event at Backlash. This is going to be the last time we get to see them in a one-on-one match. I think just in a match in general, it's going to be something to see, and I think Backlash is going to be absolutely insane just for this main event match alone. We don't know who's going to win here. Randy Orton is close to that number 17, just like John just obtained at WrestleMania, so do we see Randy Orton getting the win at Backlash? I personally don't think so. I think John's going to go on a pretty big title run towards the end of his farewell tour. I think you can make a case for Randy Orton winning, though. I think it's not like completely one-sided for John Cena, but you never know. We'll find out at Backlash, but I am super excited for this matchup. I think a lot of other people are too. We get to see Fraxium on the main roster. I guess they're officially on SmackDown, and from someone who watches NXT, and I am a big NXT fan, I've been to quite a few NXT shows over the last year, PLEs, and also just normal NXT tapings. Fraxium Live, if you've never seen them live, you're missing out on just a fantastic in-ring performance, something that I've never seen like no other. Like when the few of the shows that I've been to, Fraxium has been on, I think, every single one that I've been to. Their match and the energy that they bring out in the arena, and you saw it on the SmackDown. They got the "This is awesome" chants on the first show that they debuted on the main roster together. They are fantastic. You saw them in NXT. They had a great title reign, and every single match that they just had a 5-star classic match at Stand and Deliver against Hank and Tank for the tag team title. They can do so much on this main roster, and they're entering the best tag team division in the WWE. So what better way than to add one of the best tag teams in all of WWE in Fraxium? Tiffany Stratton has a segment and celebrating on her win after beating Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41. But Jade Cargill interrupts, and I literally sat up off my seat because I was like, no way this is going to be the next feud. And we actually got a one-on-one match last night, which I was like, what? This could be potentially like a dream match in some people's eyes, because I would love to see this in the future with a great storyline built up into this between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. So we got the one-on-one match, and it was a great match. I feel like Tiffany and Jade Cargill were showcased very, very well, but it was interrupted by Naomi. Naomi is not done with Jade. Clearly, she costed Jade the match, and it ended in a DQ, and I thought that was going to be it. I feel like a lot of others thought so as well, but then Nia Jax comes back and attacks Tiffany from behind. Let's not forget here, Nia Jax is still waiting for her rematch for the Women's Championship. I was actually there for the rematch that Nia Jax got in Washington, D.C. on a Friday Night SmackDown, but it ended in a DQ as well. If we're being honest here, Nia Jax hasn't actually officially gotten her rematch. I would want to see it because there's a lot of story here. Tiffany Stratton cashed in on Nia Jax and costed Nia Jax losing the championship. There's just a lot between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. There is already a story to be made, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tiffany Stratton against Nia Jax at Backlash. Jacob Fatu is celebrating his big win, his first singles title in the WWE, winning the United States Championship against LA Knight. Oh my goodness. Drew McIntyre interrupting, and as well as LA Knight, and I'm assuming that we're going to get a triple threat match at Backlash or something, right? But no, there was a number one contender match between LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, so they have the match. Damian Priest forces the match to end in a DQ by getting his revenge on Drew McIntyre. So no one won the number one contender match to face Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. Before I go any further, let's take a look at the entire landscape right here. Everyone being involved in chasing after the United States title, even though Damian Priest wasn't interrupting for the US title, he has now put himself in the pool of people competing for the United States Championship. Now we have Drew McIntyre, who's wanting to get his hands on the United States Championship. We have LA Knight just wanting to get his rematch clause. And now we have Damian Priest not intentionally wanting to go after the US title, but maybe now he has a case that since Drew McIntyre wants it so bad, maybe Damian wants to take that opportunity away from Drew McIntyre. We have seen this in the past where Damian Priest has costed Drew McIntyre his opportunity of having a good title reign with the World Heavyweight Championship. So we might be seeing a fatal four-way for the United States Championship at Backlash. I would absolutely love that. And Jacob Fatu is already doing a great job of making the U.S. title a prestigious title in the company. Zelina Vega wins the U.S. title. I'm so upset that Chelsea Green lost it, but I think it was about time that Chelsea loses it and gives it to someone else to build new storylines, because Chelsea Green never really had a feud with anything, but just having her and her character with the United States, like Pledge of Allegiance, I thought it was a great idea. But now it's time to hand it off to Zelina Vega. I think that she's going to do a great job with it. Not only did Zelina Vega have a big night because she won the U.S. title, Aleister Black returns. He knocked out The Miz. It's great to see Aleister back in the WWE, and he was one of Triple H's guys that he loved to create storylines for, and he loved to push. It's a great thing to see Aleister is back with Triple H in charge of the entire WWE. We're going to see big things from Aleister Black, and I hope Triple H has a great creative backstory to bring Aleister back to the mid-card title scene, or potentially even the main title scene. Bianca Belair is injured, but she did tease that when she is fully cleared and fully healthy, that she is not done with Rhea Ripley, because she felt that Rhea Ripley in the WrestleMania match had a lot of moments where she was directly just trying to attack Bianca Belair just to cost Bianca to win the Women's World Championship. We're in due for so many great storylines with this Friday Night SmackDown. This Friday Night SmackDown is just building feuds and building great stories, and this is what we need almost on an every week basis. I fell asleep for the TLC match. I'm so mad because I watched the highlights, and what a fantastic 5-star classic match. This was about 25 minutes, I believe. Montez Ford using a prosthetic leg from a fan in the crowd to use as a weapon. Like, what? When I watched the highlights, this brought back to like the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys. You got Angelo Dawkins doing a spear to Tommaso Ciampa while he's dangling, holding onto the titles, and Angelo Dawkins is on a ladder, spearing him onto a table. Everything was just fantastic in this match, and that's just from me looking at highlights. I'm sure there were so many other great moments in this match. Obviously, we all wanted this at WrestleMania. Dude, if this was at WrestleMania, this would definitely be probably the greatest match of the show, or number 2, because I'm still hooked on that women's triple threat match. But this definitely could have either topped it or been on the same level as it, because the crowd was engaged. It was worth emotionally investing into, and they did a great job of having the Street Profits and DIY and Motor City Machine Guns looking freaking phenomenal in this match. Just an amazing Friday Night SmackDown that we just watched. A SmackDown right after WrestleMania 41. I hope we get a lot more SmackDowns like this. There's no filler stuff. Everything means something in the 3 hours that we watched, because time flew by because everything was entertaining and nothing felt like a drag, like they're just throwing stuff in there just to have the show last till 3 hours. Everything meant something. They created new feuds, they created new storylines, and they created new stars. What was your favorite moment on this Friday Night SmackDown? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.